Hi, so welcome back. Today we're going to talk about probability, specifically permutations. This is just a recap of hopefully things that you've already learned, and we're just refreshing your memory on this. In a permutation, what I want you to remember is that order matters. The order of selection matters. One of the key words you want to look for is arrange. How many ways can you arrange the letters in a word? How many ways can you arrange books on a shelf or arrange students in a seat, that kind of thing. So when the order in which you pick things matter, that's when we know it's a permutation. So I'm just going to give an example here. Let's say that I have, let's say I have 3 seats and I have 5 students that I want to put into those 3 seats in order. I'll call this, seat number 1, seat number 2, and seat number 3, for no real purpose other than to just number them. And so I'm going to call these students A, B, C, D, and E. So I have 5 students. We can call them Abigail, Bob, Claire, Dora, the Explorer. No, just joking. Ellen. Okay. Anyway, so these 5 students are going to be arranged in these 3 seats. And the person in seat number 1 gets to go first. Person in seat number 2. Okay. So when I say to you, how many ways can we arrange these 5 people in 3 seats, is a permutation. Okay. There's several ways to actually work this out. The easiest of which is just to say, well, let's see. I want to actually choose somebody to sit in this seat. I have 5 people to choose from. And so when I look at how many choices do I have to pick for that first seat, I would tell you that I have 5 choices. Once that person's been placed, and let's say I put Bob in seat number 1, suddenly now for the second seat, I only have 4 choices. So as I start placing these 5 people in these 3 seats, the number that I get to choose from starts to dwindle and decrease by 1. Once the 3 seats are filled, I'm finished. So what I'm going to do is then multiply those probabilities together, because I'm finding somebody to sit in the first and the second and the third seat. And a little bit of quick math can tell you that this total is going to be 60. There will be 60 different ways to arrange these 5 people in 3 seats, first, second, third. Okay. Anytime you are arranging things, whether you're arranging only a few of them or whether you're arranging all of them, as an order matters. This is the process you want to go through. Now, here's the thing. The notation for permutation is a capital P. Does not stand for probability, it stands for permutation. The number of things that you have to arrange is N, and how many things that you're picking to arrange is R. So in this particular case, N would be 5 because I have 5 people that I can pick from, but R would be 3 because I'm only picking 3 of them at any given time to arrange. On the calculator, this is under the math menu. If you go to the math button, you will notice all the way right probability menu, and when you pick that, number 2 is the permutation of n things r at a time, and that's what you want to select. However, when you're actually using that calculator function, you first need to put in the value for n. So for this particular example, if I was to write this in permutation notation, I would say I have 5 people and I am arranging 3 of them. So 5 permutate 3. What I would do in my calculator is I would first put in my 5, then I would go to my math menu, pick probability, and the P, the permutation of anything at a time, and it would put this on my screen, and then I would put in my 3. And when I hit enter, I should get the answer of 60. You should check that out just to make sure that you know how to enter that. That's important. So here's another example. How many ways can you arrange the letters in the word English? So if I count this up, what I will tell you is that there are 7 letters in the word English. And so total arrangements, again, what I can say is this is the permutation or the arrangement. I have 7 letters and I'm going to arrange all 7 of them. Now the way this works is like this. Here are my little, think of them as like my little hangman slots. And that's 7. So for the first choice of letter here for this word, and remember in math a word doesn't necessarily have to make sense. It's just an arrangement of the letters. I actually have 7 letters to choose from. Once that letter's placed, then I have 6, and then 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then of course the last letter's not a choice at all. It's just what's left. You could put this in your calculator this way. You can use your permutation notation here with your calculator, or you could actually say, you know what, I know that this means 7 factorial. I don't know if you guys remember that notation, but factorial is the symbol, this exclamation point, what looks like an exclamation point. This factorial symbol means starting with 7, multiply all the factors decreasing by 1 until you hit 1. So this is the same as 7 factorial. 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Of course, the answer here is 5,040, if you were to put that in your calculator. Probably the quickest way to evaluate this one is by using the factorial. But again, it doesn't matter as long as you get the right answer. Another kind of an example. Sometimes what you'll find is they'll put conditions on your arrangements. So I could ask the same question and say, how many ways can I arrange the letters in the word English if it must start with a vowel? So once I do that, and I tell you it has to start with a vowel, all of a sudden, I only have 2 choices. 4, 5, 6, 7. I only have 2 choices here, either E or I, to begin this letter. You always want to put the conditions in first. Because I have 2 choices for the first letter, if it must be a vowel, then once it's placed, it doesn't matter what else, what the next letter is. It could be a vowel or consonant. I'm going to actually end up with 6 choices, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This changes things quite a bit. And so I go from having 5,040 arrangements to having 6 factorial, which is 720, times 2, which is 1440. So it's quite a bit less. So here's an example. I want you to arrange the letters of the word social, all of them, but this time I want it to start and end with a vowel. So again, I've got 6 letters, and because it has to start and end with a vowel, I actually have 3 choices for my first letter, and then I'm going to end it with a vowel because there's a specific condition there. So I have 2 choices for my last letter. After that, after those letters, let's assume, have been placed, then I have 4 choices for the second letter, then 3, then 2, and 1. And when I multiply those, I get 144. 144 different ways to arrange these letters if there must be a vowel in the first and in the last spot. Okay, so you'll have a chance to practice some of these things. Tomorrow we're going to do combinations. Another popular question talks about license plates. You have a license plate for the state, and it's going to have 3 numbers followed by 4 letters. And a lot of times there's some rules about license plates, but what we will tell you is that you can repeat the digits, okay, and you can repeat the letters. So what that means then is I need to figure out how many different codes or license plates or arrangements I can have of this. And so, again, just to do this kind of thing helps to keep yourself organized in what it is you're looking for. 3 different numbers. Remember, there's 10 digits, 0 through 9. And if they don't care if there's a repetition, then we actually have 10 choices for the first digit, 10 choices for the second digit and 10 choices for the third digit. Because, without, if they said no repetition of digits, then it would be 10, 9, 8. But because I'm allowed to repeat, I have 10 times 10 times 10. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. So that means this is going to be followed by 26 times 26 times 26 times 26, as long as I can repeat those letters. Now, again, this isn't really the way it works because we don't typically have license plates that start out 000, but it could, okay? When you multiply those, you will get 456,976,000. You can see that there's quite a few different license plates for this particular state. If you need more, add another digit or add another letter. Or, yeah, I guess that would be the only two options.